English Learning Series, How to Think in English.
Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something that honestly sounds super intimidating, but I promise you it's absolutely doable. We're talking about how to stop translating in your head and actually start thinking directly in English. So if you've ever just completely frozen up or maybe felt frustratingly slow when trying to speak, well, you're in the right place, because we're going to walk through a highly practical daily blueprint to fix exactly that. But first, we really need to bust a massive myth right out of the gate. So many learners out there seem to think that to truly think in English, you have to pack up all your bags, move to the US or the UK, or just bury yourself in heavy grammar textbooks for hours every night. And guys, it's just not true. Building real fluency, it's not about these massive life-altering changes. It's actually all about small, smart, really manageable daily steps. To really get why these small steps matter, we kind of have to look at the root of the problem. Picture this. Someone comes up and asks you a super basic question. Something like, what did you do today? You understand the question perfectly, right? But then what happens? Does your brain just freeze? Do you suddenly panic, scramble back to your native language to build the answer, and then try to awkwardly force it back into English? That whole clunky mental process? Yeah, it's a massive trap. When you translate word for word in real time, it's like you're trying to jam puzzle pieces from two entirely different games together. It just takes way too long, and honestly, it ends up sounding a bit unnatural. For example, your native language might literally translate out to, I very like this. But the natural, flowing way to say it in English is, I really like this. Translating literally just completely blocks that natural flow. Which leads us to a huge aha moment perfectly captured in our sources. You are not slow because your English is bad. You're slow because you are translating. I mean, think about that for a second. Your brain is literally being overworked trying to juggle two completely different languages at the exact same millisecond. It's exhausting. It's not a lack of talent at all. You just got to stop doing double the mental work.
So how do we bypass this trap? Well, we need to train the brain to just react. And that brings us to our first major strategy, the master key of shadowing.
Now, if you haven't heard of it, shadowing is this incredibly effective technique. It works kind of like an echo. You listen to someone speaking English, and you repeat what they say immediately right back. You don't pause the audio to think. You definitely don't stop to translate or look up a word in a dictionary. It's exactly like humming along to the rhythm of a brand new song before you actually know all the lyrics. It naturally trains your brain and your mouth to just work together in sync.
And when you're doing this, you're not just mindlessly reading words aloud. You really want to focus intensely on three key things: the sound, the speed, and the rhythm. English has a very specific bouncy flow to it. By mimicking the exact tone and pace of a native speaker, you're training your ear to catch the right pronunciation, and you're training your mouth to move fluidly. Seriously, doing this for just 5 minutes a day will start rewiring your brain.
Okay, so now that we've laid that foundation, let's get into the mechanics of how to actually fit this into a busy schedule with our 5-step daily blueprint.
Starting off with step 1, thinking in English one thought at a time. The trick here is not to try and translate huge, complex sentences right away. Start super small. Just look around your room and mentally name the objects you see. Phone, table, door. And then once that feels easy, add an action to it, like I open the door. Eventually, you'll be having whole mini conversations in your head. It might feel a little goofy talking to yourself, sure, but it is an unbelievably effective, zero-pressure way to start.
Moving on to step 2, which is narrating your daily life. This is great because it naturally forces you to practice your tenses, and you never even have to open a boring grammar book. So, in the morning, plan out your day. I will go to work. During the day, state what you're doing. I am answering emails. And then at night, do a quick review. I worked a lot. You're effortlessly jumping between future, present, and past tenses. And because it's your actual life, your brain actually remembers it. Step 3 is all about daily immersion through listening. And honestly, this is the best part. Even if you are only catching about 30% of what's being said in a podcast or a video, you are absolutely still learning. You do not need to understand every single word. Your brain is working perfectly in the background, subconsciously recognizing patterns and getting used to the sounds. Just throw something on while you're cooking or cleaning and make English the background music of your day. Step 4 is a great reminder of a physical reality. Speaking is an actual physical skill. Just like going to the gym to train your muscles, if you're only ever reading silently to yourself, your lips, your tongue, and your breath simply won't have the muscle memory to form the words out loud. So treat pronunciation exactly like a workout. Read out loud. Repeat sentences with real emotion. The first time you lift weights, sure, it's tough, but it gets easier. Your speaking voice works the exact same way.
And that brings us to step 5, which really ties everything together. Small habits, creating big changes.
What's super fascinating here is this concept of passive learning. This means learning naturally without even feeling like you're studying. And the absolute easiest win for this? Go ahead and switch your phone's language settings to English. Seriously, do it right now. Think about how many dozens of times a day you look at your phone. With this one tiny switch, you are effortlessly exposing yourself to vocabulary like settings, airplane mode, or brightness until they just become completely second nature to you.
Let's look at how seamlessly all of this can fit into a totally normal, busy day. In the morning, you're already doing passive learning just by checking your phone in English. On your commute to work or school, you're doing your mental narration, describing things you see out the window. And then at night, right before you go to sleep, maybe you just jot down a super simple 3-sentence diary. I went to work, I felt tired, I drank coffee. That literally takes less than 5 minutes, but it successfully forces your brain to think directly in English throughout your entire day.
The ultimate takeaway from the sources we've looked at today is this really powerful shift in perspective. Don't treat English like homework. Make it a part of your life. If you treat it like this awful chore that you have to suffer through for an hour every night, your brain is just going to reject it. But if you weave it into your phone, your commute, your daily internal thoughts, well, it stops being a subject you have to pass, and it becomes a tool you just naturally use.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a direct challenge to kickstart your progress. Take a look at your daily routine. What is just one simple, tiny habit you can switch to English today? Maybe it's flipping those phone settings, or just mentally naming objects while you walk to the kitchen. Pick just one thing right now and start training that brain of yours. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and keep learning.